Today's talk is about discipline and how something so simple can lead to such great outcomes in life. Let's talk about it. To be honest, lack of discipline is the reason why most people don't achieve what they set out to achieve in life, if they even set out to achieve anything in the first place. But what we have to understand is the dichotomy between discipline and motivation. It's easy to be motivated if you really think about it. You can go on social media, watch a video, you can watch your favorite sports player do what they do on the court, on the field, or whatever the case may be, and you can be extremely inspired to go out there and pursue whatever you want to pursue. But this is the thing. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on systems. So in order to really become a disciplined person, we have to set the right routines, set the right systems in place so that it becomes familiar to us, therefore making it easy for us to continue getting better. For example, myself, I've been working out for years. I think around 6 years now, but I've been weightlifting for 3 years and the results show pretty obvious. Now, there have been many people along the way who have asked me, how is it so easy for you to stay consistent? How is it so easy for you to continue to push through whatever you're going through to get to the gym and do what you have to do? And this is where we have to understand consistency feels boring. But then the next question would be, why? Why does consistency seem so boring and also so hard? And what we have to remember is that we use the word boring, but boring is what growth looks like from the inside. The reason it's so hard and the reason why it feels so boring is because as you're developing these systems to make it easier for you to continue with your discipline, the process is very redundant and it's also very tedious. And the progress is not dramatic at all, right? You don't just start working out one day and the next week you see instant results, whether you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, get put on muscle, whatever you're looking to do. It doesn't happen overnight. So what we have to do is remember that we have to enjoy the progress. We have to enjoy the process as well. Like I said, the progress may not be seen as soon as possible, but remember that you're building within. You're building yourself within. You're building that endurance. You're building that strength within first. And this also helps you keep going. So that's what I tell people usually whenever they inquire about what it took for me to keep going to the gym every day, keep eating healthy every single day. And even relating it to the real estate thing, the investing thing, it's the same thing. I came in not understanding a lick about buying a house, credit, whatever the case may be. But what I did was, when I wanted to learn, I was waking up every morning, 5 a.m., and I was studying. I was looking at the market. I was on biggerpockets.com, checking out their articles. I was talking to people online. I was doing whatever I needed to do in order to become familiar. That's a key word, becoming familiar with the process of real estate. And I made a lot of progress with real estate, now having 2 properties. So just remember that there's a snowball effect of results quietly first. I'll say that again. There's a snowball effect of results quietly first, and it happens within. So don't be so quick to down yourself because it's not turning out how you thought it would turn out in whatever specific time period you thought it would turn out. Because a lot of breakthroughs come when you show up on the regular days consistently, not just the special ones. Not just the days that you were motivated, not just the days that you watched a little video and now you have the energy to get up and go. Also, a thing with consistency is consistency builds patience, right? As I've been speaking on, it builds patience, and it, like I said before, it builds endurance, you know. And with that comes, and with that patience and endurance comes a reducing of the discouragement that you have because you're not seeing things right away. So with the workout example, I was trying to put on weight. I was trying to put on muscle for a while, and I remember it got to a point where I was stuck at 195 pounds. I was just stuck. And, you know, I would get on the scale, and the thing about it was my goal was to be at 200 to 205. I always wanted to stay in that range. But I was stuck at 195 for an extremely long time, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't really know. I just plateaued, and I didn't know what exactly I was doing wrong, what I need to do more of, what I need to do less of. And what would happen is I completely stopped getting on the scale, because I knew that with me getting on the scale came a certain level of disappointment. I kept seeing myself at 195. I just kept seeing it, and because of my consistent habits, it was easier for me to keep going. It was easier for me to just keep going and be like, at some point I'm going to continue to grow. And because I believed that I would continue to grow, I believed it would be stupid for me to stop, or it would be stupid for me to completely give up on what I had put in, how much work I had put in up until that point. So that's the mindset we have to get in as we're approaching. That's the mindset we have to keep as we're approaching new goals. Another interesting question that we have to ask, and I think that this could get confusing, it's a good question, is what really does discipline look like? Remember that discipline is not about intensity, it's about reliability. It's about depending on yourself. So when you see yourself doing the right things consistently, and you know that you can rely on yourself, that builds confidence. So discipline can look like, so things like waking up on time, working out when you're unmotivated, eating healthy no matter what, finishing what you start. All of these things show discipline in the right ways. Think about it like this. When it comes to your job, and it comes to that check, you don't care at all whether you're motivated or whether you're feeling good or whether you're sad, happy. You're still going to get up and go to the job, which is crazy because you think about it. When it comes to somebody else's destiny, we're extremely disciplined. We'll get up, we'll go to the job, go through the motions or whatever, but we show up. We show up for them. But for ourselves, when it comes to eating healthy and working out, then it becomes hard for us to imagine ourselves doing things that's going to make us better. And it doesn't make any sense. It truly doesn't make any sense, because I would think that as individuals, we care about ourselves more than an employer does. But because of programming and different things of that nature, we get up and go for that other person. But for this person, it's a hassle. So we have to build a routine that is similar to the routine we have to get up and go to the job every morning, basically. So, you know, discipline is not about doing more, it's about skipping less. So with that job, you go there, you work your 8 hours, you come home, now you're tired. Now you no longer, in your mind, you give yourself the excuse that you no longer have the energy or the mental bandwidth to execute on anything that has to do with you. right now, you may cook, you may clean, and those are the regular things that we do as adults. But in essence, you're not doing anything that truly helps you grow. So that's one thing we have to do more as people, is focus on our own growth. Because as we're going to and from these 9 to 5s or whatever we may have at the time, we're helping somebody else grow exponentially, us and our coworkers. It's about time that we look at ourselves and say, I'm worth it. I respect myself. I love myself enough. I care about myself enough to know that I'm worth putting in just this 1 hour, each day, in which I can go to the gym, in which I can read a book, in which I can write, in which I can create something. I'm worth that time, because in the long run, it's going to pay off because of my consistency. Now, another question is, what if no one sees my work? This is somewhat a good question when you think about human nature, just off of the fact that people want to be validated. We see that all the time. We see that with celebrities. We see that on social media. I mean, we absolutely see that on social media. We see it on TV. People want to be validated. They want to feel as if the work that they're putting in is being seen by the masses. If people notice your discipline, if people notice your work early, there's probably something you're doing wrong. And the reason I say that, for going back to the workout example, if I start working out with somebody, they invite me to the gym, I work out with them, let's say 2 times. Let's say a month later, I come around, I look like John Cena, I look like The Rock, I look like cut up, I'm 100 pounds more than I weigh, and it's all muscle. Well, you would know, and you would know that I look like that because of steroids. There would be no other conclusion. There would be no other outcome you would even think about. It would be because I've been shooting up, and now I am around here looking like, and now I'm around here looking like, and now I'm around here looking like, and now I'm around here looking like prime Dwight Howard. You would already know that I've been doing something. You would already know that I'm doing something wrong, just integrity wise. Yeah, I may be putting in the work every day, going to the gym, but I'm taking a shortcut. So if people notice your discipline early, and I'm not saying something small, you begin to work out, maybe there is some weight loss in your face or your midsection that people notice, and that's fine. Big noticeable changes into your body or whatever as you're first starting out, remember that the real work happens privately, and with that, validation comes late. When it comes to great sports players, let's say, if you know me, my favorite player is Steph Curry. If you know me, you know that. And at the end of the day, when it comes to watching his career, you know that basically what you see on the court on those nationally televised games is almost like 10% of the actual work he's put in the gym in his whole career. That's almost like the finished product. So what he's been working on from the time he started playing basketball all the way up until this point, when it comes to practice and we haven't seen. We see the finished product, and that's when we praise them. That's when we praise these people. So whatever it is that we're looking to do, we have to remember that when you first begin to become a disciplined person in whatever way, remember, it's not about the validation, it's about the work. Remember, the work, the real work, is being put in privately. Like I said, as we see with a lot of sports players, like we see with a lot of artists, like we see with a lot of celebrities or actors, actresses, whatever the case may be, the real work has been put in places we have not seen. So don't be so worried about people seeing you, people looking at you as somebody who has put the work in. Know you're putting the work in, know you're putting the right work in, and focus on getting the best results you can get. So, like I said before, discipline is not about being extreme, doing these grandiose things to make it look like something. It's about being dependable to yourself. And this is how we grow our mindset. This is how we grow our confidence. This is how we become healthier. This is how we become better investors. This is how we live a better life in general. This is how we reduce the effects of anxiety and fear as well, because what we begin to do repeatedly becomes automatic. It becomes second nature. So if we're constantly putting in work to make ourselves better each and every day, when we go out in front of people, there is no reason to be scared because we're so prepared. Bars. So with that being said, you can almost equate discipline with the likes of being faithful. Of course, faith in a higher power, but in this instance, faith in the work that you've put in. So let's forget about fear, forget about failure, and focus on faith, because no luck is involved when discipline is in play. It's only no luck is involved when discipline is in play. It's only faith and consistency. And I mean that in the areas of money, of time, health, your confidence. All of this has nothing to do with circumstance, with luck, with happenstance, I should say. It's all about the work you have put in. And I know some people are naturally confident, but for those of us who may not have been blessed with that ability, let's start creating routines that will help us be more disciplined. So you think about talented people, you think about, like I said, naturally confident, naturally gifted people. They can be all that as much as they want to be, but discipline beats talent. Most people don't fail because they cannot, they fail because they will not. So we have to do things not because on how we feel, but because we know that it will end in amazing results for us in the future. So on this journey, we're looking to build a better life in all aspects. And it starts with discipline. It starts with the decisions you're going to make starting today, and especially going into the new year. What are you going to do? I ask this question sincerely. What are you going to do to become a better person? What are you going to do to become a more disciplined person? More specifically, with me researching, with me working out, with me doing the things that I have to do, with me saving money, investing money, all of these things I already know I have laid the foundation for something incredible going into the future. So what exactly will we do to build on top of what we already have built? With that being said, I don't want this channel to just be about real estate investing. There will be much content on that anyway. But if you do view this, I hope that you're looking to set an example. There's a lot of people out here who have no real standards in how they live. There's a lot of people out here that have no standards on how they live, which is, everybody lives their own life. But for people who are looking to become better, I hope this information serves you well. I hope that you get out of all these videos what you intend to get out of them and what I intend for you to get out of them. This was about discipline and how this can lead to a better life. And the more disciplined we are, the more we set ourselves up for success in the future. So, like I said before, going into the new year, just ask yourself this, and I ask you as well, how can we, how can you, how can I become better when it comes to our disciplines? Eating healthy, working out, investing, saving money, learning more, becoming smarter. Let's continue on that journey to become the best we can be. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure relaying this information to you. Win at all costs.